Hello everybody and welcome back to Dee-licious. Today we're going to be making marshmallows. I posted a picture on my Instagram account. If you want to follow me, it's Dee-licious UK. And I received a comment from someone saying that they would like to learn how to do it. So Ophelia, this is specifically for you. So first things first, you want a bowl full of warm soapy water because this is a very sticky, very messy recipe. You don't need to put your oven on because we shan't be doing anything on the oven. You will be using a hob though. Another thing to remember is that if you want to do this the very scientific way, you're going to need one of these. This is a thermometer, a sugar thermometer. I'm not going to be using this. I have a rule of thumb that I always use, but if you want to be very precise about it, then you're going to need one of these. It's very important, I cannot stress enough how important it is that when you you're making your sugar syrup, that this is in your pan from the beginning. It has to heat up with your sugar syrup. If you put it in afterwards, this will break. And then you're going to have to start again and you won't have your sugar thermometer. So that's extremely important to remember. Another extremely important thing to remember is that, again, when taking it out after you've finished, this is going to be extremely hot. Don't put it in water. Just put it down on the side somewhere out of harm's way where you're not going to touch it, and let it cool down naturally. That way you're not going to have any problems. As I said, I'm not going to be using this because I like to be a little bit Heath Robinson. I don't like rules and I don't like to be held down when I'm cooking. So the way that I'm going to show you is a little bit different and you're just going to time it. So first things first, you're going to need a cup of water. You're going to need a tablespoon of vanilla because I'm making vanilla marshmallows today. You're going to need 22 grams of gelatin, a cup and a half, ooh, that could have been disastrous. You're going to need a cup and a half of sugar and a cup of syrup. I'm using golden syrup. If you're doing any other flavour, you're going to probably want to use a light corn syrup. I love the flavour that golden syrup gives when you mix it with the vanilla. So for today, that's what I'm going to be using. You're going to need a pan, like so. And first things first, you're going to put a half cup of water into the bowl of your mixer. You are going to need a mixer for this, an electric mixer. So I have my KitchenAid, it's beautiful, I love it. Thank you, Mum. If you don't have a KitchenAid, perhaps a proper electric whisk, that will work as well. It will be a little loud and you won't be able to get away from it rather, but it will still do the job. So you've put that in there. You're going to sprinkle your gelatine on top, like so, and you're going to leave that while you do your syrup. Now, this is a little bit tricky because you're going to be tipping hot syrup into this later on. Just be careful, that's what I'm saying. It's not dangerous, but just be careful. All right, so now you're going to take your pan, you're going to take another half cup of cold water into your pan. You're going to put your sugar in, all of your sugar. And you're going to put your golden syrup in too. Or your corn syrup if that's what you're using. Now, I'm going to do this off camera because otherwise you're going to get a little bored. But I'm going to tell you the trick that I use. You're going to wait for this to melt. You're going to put it on a medium-high heat. You're going to wait for it to melt, the sugar into the water, and Then you're going to wait for it to come to a rolling boil. I'm going to insert a clip here so that you know exactly what I mean, so don't panic. And when it gets to that rolling boil, you're going to time it for a minute.
Amy, count is on. Is that a rolling boil?
Yeah. That is exactly what a rolling boil is.
Okay. Is that done?
Yes.
1 minute.
1 minute. Okay, and you should have seen an insert just then. If you didn't, I shall be complaining to Amy because her Amy cam is trash. Amy's my sister, by the way, if you're wondering. She is the editor because I am a technophobe and I can't make anything work that's in the least technological. Okay. Okay, so you're going to want your big balloon whisk on, and you're just going to want to break up the gelatin. So you're just going to turn this on for a minute to break it up. Right, and you're going to want, okay, now this next bit you're going to want to do this on a slow speed, because obviously sugar syrup, extremely hot cooked sugar syrup, so please be careful. It's not dangerous so long as you don't do anything silly. Okay, right, so you're just going to want to put this on very, very quietly, slowly.
Why didn't I go in for?
I don't know, I can't think.
Oh, wow. It's gone opaque. It's gone really...
I'm impressed.
It's busy this time.
All right. Now you're going to want to do that for about 10 minutes or until you can feel that it's cooled down in there. This next bit you're going to want to do quite quickly because I've, like I showed you with the tins, we've put butter on, but instead of putting flour on, we've used icing sugar. This way you've made a barrier. It's going to make it so that your marshmallow doesn't stick, because this stuff is ridiculously sticky. So this bit you're going to want to do reasonably fast, like I said, because it's setting because of the gelatin. So you want it cool enough. Wow. You want it cool enough so that it's going to retain its shape, but you don't want it so cool. This is going to be loud, hang on. So sticky. Wait until we try to get it in there, it's going to be mental. You don't want it to be so cool that it's already gone hard, because then you're fighting a losing battle trying to scrape it all together into your tin, or in this case, you're totally looking at this and thinking, I wonder if she's going to give it to me, aren't you?
Yeah.
You totally can have it. Here we go. Right, now.
Oh, okay.
Ridiculously sticky. It's a little bit like the inside of a snowball. Have you ever had those chocolates? At this stage, that's very much what it's like.
All over my face.
Yes, it's definitely not a date food, okay, at this stage. Okay, and you're going to want to try, oops. You're going to try to get this. Oops. Into a bowl. Oh, this stuff just looks fantastic, but it is the stickiest substance on earth. I don't think that there is anything. You could definitely lay tiles with it. It's quite incredible and worth making purely for the incredible texture. Just to say you've done it, right? you're not going to be able to get your bowl entirely clean. It is perhaps the saddest thing. You can try and get, oops. You can try and lick it if you like, but I don't know how the thing you're going to be. So just spread it out as best you can. It's very tricky because it's just going to want to stick. So you're not going to get absolutely perfect squares. It's part of the reason why I like it, because it's unique. It doesn't look shop made when you make it, it looks better. And there you have it. These are going to have, I'm so sticky right now. These are going to have to remain in the pan for about 8 hours, preferably. Or overnight. If you make them at night, you can just leave them overnight, and it does, you know, you're not waiting to tuck into them for quite so long. Yeah, that's it. You're going to want to mix up a little bit more icing sugar when you cut these up, because they are still going to be really sticky. Best way is to use a long straight knife, not serrated, but a nice big chopping knife. Dust your side, chop it up and toss it in your icing sugar as you go. They will coat very, very well, and you shouldn't have any problem with them sticking. I never have, so you shouldn't either. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy making them. I hope you have a bash at making them, because it is a good fun. It's a really, really good recipe to make with kids or teenagers, purely for the mess factor, or adults. There we go. Purely for the mess factor. I hope you enjoy them, I hope you like them, and I also hope you like and subscribe. But thank you very much for watching.
It's pretty in its way and will not always stay, but soon the sun will shine.